Well, I'm so glad you're joining me today. It is Thursday, and this is the day that we go through our activity box, see what's inside. Hopefully, you've already taken a peek at what's in there and maybe tried to do a few things. And this is where we go through and do our activity with the supplies that we've provided you in the box as well. In your box today, you should have several handouts. One is a Sudoku game. These are so fun. I love these. I want you to give it a try. It's a good way to stretch and exercise the brain, and the answers are on the back, but no peeking. Try to do this without looking at the answer sheet first, okay? And then after you've given it your best shot and you've done it with somebody and you still are struggling with the answers, then take a peek. But let's try to do it independently or with someone, and do your best to try to see if you can come up with those answers. They're a lot of fun to do. We also have a word search, summer fun words. I love this. This is a lot of fun where you take a lot of these words that are related to summer at the bottom, and you find these words in here as well. And this is also a fun game that you can do with the things like summer words. You do a category game. Get a piece of paper out with a pen or a pencil and have a little discussion about naming the different things that you can come up with that are related to summer, all the different words. You know, like the sunshine, the swimming pool, 4th of July. There are so many different things that are come under that category. And then when you're done with that, maybe each week find a different category that you can just sit down together and do a fun thinking game. This is something that we like to do at Grace Arbor quite often, and it's a great exercise to do cognitively with everyone, and you can get a few laughs out of it as well. So I hope that you give that a try and try to enjoy some of that activity that we like to do here as well. And then you also have some handouts in here that have a lot of pictures of people that you might recognize. So there are, of course, the names down here. This one's Ginger Rogers, and there are quite a few other photographs in here that you might recognize. I love these. Oh, here's one. Look at this. You might recognize that face. See if you can recognize these faces. And then the fun fact about these are all celebrities that have birthdays in the month of July. And on the very back of each picture is a great little history of the person that is on the other side of it. So look, you have your birth date, you have their initials, and a little bit about that person. So that's a little fun activity that you can do together. I encourage you to put that also to the side somewhere, and do that activity in another. You can take that and do it in another time during this month, or hold it off to another month. That's something you can always use as a go-to activity when you are looking for something for your family to do. So some of these things that we send you, you can always just kind of tuck them in a folder somewhere and hold on to them, because they are fantastic activities to keep them engaged and entertained when you need them to have something to do, or they're just needing to find an activity to keep them stimulated as well. So today's activity is a little monogram board. Isn't that fun? That's a K for Kim, and she put that together, and it's a little cork board, and she's already assembled the back with some foam on it. So we are going to make those today. What you'll need is a paintbrush, and you're going to need some paint. We have supplied you with paints and a paintbrush in your activity boxes before. Those are supplies for you to keep, as well as a bottle of glue. So pull all of those supplies out. If you are running low or running out of these items, please let me know so I can make sure to refresh your supply in your activity box on the next delivery, because we want to make sure that you have everything that you need to enjoy the activity that we're going to be doing each week. So with your activity in your box, you should have gotten a little template. Everybody has something different. Like this looks like just like a little seashell, seahorse, not seahorse, starfish. This is a little starfish, and I think this one is a seashell. There we go. Others might have a lighthouse or a flower, just different things that we were able to come up with. and give everybody a variety of something. This is a sponge. You might want to put that to the side as well. And a letter. You have a little sticker letter, and each one of you should have the first letter of your name. So Mark, you should have the letter M, and Mary, you should also have the letter M. Ruth should have R. Carol, you should have the C. So everyone should have the letter that corresponds with the first letter of their first name. You also have 2 magnetic strips with a white back. So you're going to put those to a side. And then you're going to have 4 strips of ribbon. And there's going to be 2 long ones. There's going to be 2 long ones, and there's going to be 2 short ones. Okay? So put those over here. And then, of course, your cork board. And like I said, Kim has already pre-assembled these for you, where the backing is already prepped and ready for you to start working on your creation. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and give you on a side note, these magnetic strips. They're going to go on the back of your board. And what we're going to do is take off this white backing, but it's very challenging. And it is definitely going to test your patience a little bit. So I encourage you to take just a couple of minutes before we get started with our project to try to just kind of pull a little corner of this off, so you can get ready to just pull this back and remove it when we start our project, which is what we're getting ready to do. So what we're going to have is the white side of our board facing up, and you're going to pull off this white piece, and it's not easy. Oof. Let's see. There it goes. And then I'm just going to stick that on the board like that. All right? And then you're going to do the same thing with the second magnet. You're going to remove the white sticky backing, and then you're going to just put it on there like that. So then you can put this board on your refrigerator or anywhere else that a magnet will hold on to or stick to. Okay? So we have that. I'll move some of this out of the way. All right, so now you're going to lay your board with the cork side up. Get your paintbrush and pick out a color that you like. And one of the things I like about Kim's board is that she did a white, and when she did the white, it just helped with the little color pop on the stencils when she painted those in. So for me, I'm going to choose white on mine, but you know what? Everybody, you choose the color that you really want to be on your board. It doesn't matter. But before you do paint that, you're going to put your letter on there. So this one is a letter D. So I'm just going to peel that off, and I'm going to put mine right in the middle. So some folks might want to put theirs on a different place on the board, and that is perfectly okay. Just stick this letter anywhere on the board you'd like. You might want to put it on the top or the bottom or in a corner or right there in the middle. Okay, now that I have my letter on there, I'm going to pick out my paint, and I'm going to use white. I'm just going to get that ready. Instead of using my paint tray, I'm just going to squirt the paint on the board. Since I'm just covering this board with one color right now, I'm just going to squeeze little dollops on here. And save me from having to clean up the paint tray, right? So now I'm just going to take this board. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to spread that white paint all over the top of this board. I don't need to paint the sides, just the surface. And just go back and forth motion. And what you're going to do is you're going to paint over the letter that you put on your board. Just go back and forth. How fun. I love to paint. And this is something that I want to share, is that this is a project that you do not have to start and finish all in the same sitting. You could take days to do this. You could take hours, whatever works best for you guys. This is meant to be something enjoyable. It's not supposed to bring any frustrations or stress. So if it looks like you just need to do one coat of paint and then walk away from it for a while, then do that and then come back to it whenever you're ready, because some projects are just more fun when you can take some time, more time to do it than just an hour or a few minutes, you know. Sometimes coming back to something over the course of days or hours is very helpful. So I'm just going to add a little bit more paint on mine to cover up a few spots. And see how it looks. But you can use, I'm using white, you can use any color that you want. You have, that's one thing I like about sending you guys all the paint colors for you to keep, is that you can have a palette selection to choose from. Before, I was only able to send you one or two colors, and now you have a whole set. Awesome. Okay, so we have our board painted up. Got it all white. Look at that. And I'm going to leave that sticker on there for just a bit, because I'm still going to work at adding the ribbon and everything else. So I'm just going to leave that alone for a little bit. I'm going to move my paint out of the way. And our next step is going to be the glue. What you want to do is take your glue, and I am just going to go around the edges with my glue and glue bottle and just make a little lines on there for the ribbon to stick to. So just like this. There we go. Just go straight down. You don't need to spread it out or anything. You can just leave it like that. Okay. Once you have your glue on all your edges, you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to lay that on top of the glue. So what I want to tell you is, when you lay your ribbon down, your ribbon's going to be longer than the actual project itself. That's why we have some scissors, because you're going to need to trim it all up once it's dry. So I have the long one that I'm using. It doesn't matter, you just pick one, and I'm probably going to have to move this tray. That's much better. All right, so I'm going to lay this long ribbon along one side all the way to the edge. Just kind of press it down a little bit. Then take another long one. Lay it on the side. Really doesn't matter which one you choose. Just have, you know, as long as the long pieces are stretched on the long sides and the short pieces are glued on the short side. Just go across the edges like this. Look at that. How festive. Love this. The bright colors. How pretty. Okay. So I have the ribbon on all sides of our board right here. And typically, ideally, what you want to do is wait for this all to dry before clipping your ribbon. But just for video purposes, I'm going to try to clip mine real quick so you can see that it's not anything complex, just taking those edges and trimming them off like that. Okay. There we go. Nice. I'm going to trim this one up. Turn that around. There we go. So really just, once it dries really good, trim your edges. Mine moved around a little bit when I was trying to do it when it was wet, so you might want to wait for it to dry. And one thing I noticed is you might have to add a little bit of glue between the two pieces of ribbon. Okay. Awesome. There we go. All right, so our next step is your stencil. So the starfish that I have, what I'm going to do is just place it randomly anywhere on this board that I choose. And right now I'm going to choose the bottom. I'm just going to lay it on there. Now here's something I want to show you on this video is you notice that this template and this board, you can't see that template. So you're going to have to help and be your best volunteer and help your family with the stenciling itself as far as where it's at, because they're not going to see where they need to paint. So you are going to have to assist them if they are struggling to see the template on top of the board. So do know that that will be a visual challenge for them to keep in mind. I'm going to use blue because that makes you think of nautical things, and with that being a starfish, we'll want to maybe use a little blue. And I'm just going to take that and dab on top of my template. And you can work at it and get it as dark or as you want, or leave it light. This one's kind of a little faded look. I like it. See? So that little star right there. And now I might want to add another star up here. Let me go ahead and do that. It can overlap the ribbon. It doesn't have to be perfect. This has to be fun. It'll be a little bit easier to see this template once paint is on it. So you could even take this template and add a little bit of paint on it. So when it's placed on your board, they can see it better. There we go. Now my paint went on top of my ribbon, but I'm okay with that. Look at that. That looks great. My next step is I'm going to peel off the letter, that little sticker. And usually you want everything to dry, but I'm just doing this for the video purposes. You're going to peel that off. And look. Oh my goodness. That looks fantastic. And when it's dry, I can hang it up on the refrigerator or wherever I know a magnet can stick to, whatever a magnet can stick to. It'll look great. I can't wait to see what you did with yours, and everybody has something different, and I can't wait to see where you're hanging it. So I am looking forward to seeing your post on how you enjoyed this activity. So guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon, and I will see you next week for our activity coming up. Take care.